Reading book on pausing and institutions. Written by me, Eric Wadell. First draft, February 2026. Chapter 3. Universal Skills of Pausing. Whenever we pause and wherever we pause, there are some fundamental ground principles within the way of things. Like Newton's laws of nature, but for pausing. We may call these fundamental principles universals, and we may develop skills out of them, our universal skills of pausing. We make use of 5 universal skills, and these 5 build upon each other in a logical sequence. They are body, motion, time, patterns, and creativity. The universal skills are applicable in every and any situation, and we make the best use of them by following our natural desire to do so or not to do so. Any one of them may be used on its own, and we may also combine them and make use of them all as one coherent sense of understanding. As we look at the 5 universal skills, we will first look at the skill in itself and how it is to pause with it. After that, we will make use of both pausing and the universal skills at hand to see how they relate to institutions. Body. Body is how we know our inside from our outside. You have a body, and I have a body. Your body is half your world, and my body is half my world. But my body is not half your world. At every given moment, we have an inside and an outside. Every event in our life is the combination of our inside and outside. The dimensions in this is that there is always balance between our inside and outside. Whatever is going on in the one has its reciprocity in the other. For example, if we hold an apple in our hands, then that apple is half of our world. Or if we stand in front of a mountain, then that mountain is also half of our world. And in both cases, our body is the reciprocal half to both the apple and to the mountain. When we meet with another physiological body, that of another person, that person is the other half to our body. And when we meet with 1,000 people, then those 1,000 bodies are also the other half to our body. Like this, the dimensions of our outside and inside halves change but are always in balance with one another. This sometimes feels logical and at other times feels mysterious. We pause and get a sense of how our inside relates to our outside. This is universal skill body, and we develop an ever finer relationship to it with continuous practice. One aspect of universal skill body is to simply observe the dynamics between our own body and other bodies. For example, I am here, you are there, and over there is a third body. So there are distances and proximities between us. Another aspect of universal skill body is to observe how our inner state changes with the changing circumstances in our outside. Our body is complex, and we can spend our whole lives getting to know its motivations and reactions. Now, how does universal skill body relate to institutions? We pause and observe how our inside and outside combine together with the dual loyalty that we have towards institutions. The result becomes something like two axes crossing one another. On the one axis we have our inside and outside, and on the other axis we have our loyalty to the emotional institutions of old and the intellectual institutions of today or of the future. In the intersection of these four aspects, we get our body's role in institutions. For any institution that we come across, our body will be in continuous dynamics between these four aspects: inside, outside, emotional, and intellectual. Say, for example, that we meet with a newly acquainted subgroup. What are our inside reactions to it? And how do the other bodies here react to us? Do the dynamics feel emotional or intellectual? Does this institution at hand feel like the logical other half to our inside? This is how we pause and make use of universal skill body when we come across institutions. It would seem that we pause the best with institutions containing bodies with similar inner experiences to our own. Motion. Motion is how we see change as it is unfolding. Our bodies are in constant motion. We may pause, but we will never fully stop. Even if we really tried, we cannot fully stop. Even in the midst of a pause, we are still in motion. And this is true for everything. We are constantly changing, and universal skill motion is how we pause and observe that change as it is unfolding. We pause and observe how our bodies change. We pause and observe the motion of our bodies. The first aspect of universal skill motion is that our bodies are moving in some certain direction. My body may be moving in this direction, and your body may be moving in that direction. Here we are talking about direction in multiple different senses, both physically, but also intentionally or emotionally. There are visible motion, but also invisible and intangible direction. The second aspect of universal skill motion is to observe the speed of the motion. We are not only moving in a certain direction, but we are also going there more or less fast or slow. You and I might be going in the same direction, but with different speeds. One of us being ahead of the other and going even further ahead, or one catching up to the other and moving past them. The third aspect of universal skill motion is to see the weight we carry with us in our motion. Here, again, we are talking about weight in multiple different senses. We may talk about physical or logistical weight, but also about motivational or emotional weight. One person carrying a lot of personal weight in their motion is perhaps doing something quite different from the other person who is carrying little or no personal weight in the same given direction and speed. Then, how does motion relate to institutions? It would seem that every institution is like a body, going in a certain direction with a certain speed and carrying a certain weight. Some institutions move in a clear and consistent direction. Others change direction frequently. Some institutions move with a steady speed, and others accelerate or decelerate interchangeably. Some institutions carry a steady weight with them, and others change the amount of weight in their actions. Like this, we may pause and observe the direction, speed, and weight of the motion of any given institution. It would seem that we pause the best with institutions that match our own personal expectations when it comes to the direction, speed, and weight of motion. Time. Time is how we appreciate the effort behind things. Bodies that are in motion, in time, grows into something. There is time in everything. And universal skill time is how we learn to appreciate that certain time in people and things. We pause and see that there is time and effort invested in a person. We also pause and see that there is time and effort invested in an institution. Up until this point of this book, you have invested time in your reading. You have committed yourself to the reading of this book. The same is true for institutions. Whether we like a given institution or not, people have invested time and effort into developing them. For every institution that there will be real people feeling strongly about them. If not for the institution in themselves, then at least about the effort that they have put into them. At some times we find ourselves loyal to institutions, not because we necessarily agree with their current composition, but because we have spent a great amount of time with it. The institutions that we have been part of for all of our lives, we will have a hard time criticizing, and an even harder time leaving. In some sense, the time that we have invested in the given institution, we have also invested in ourselves. In some sense, criticizing or leaving an institution is like criticizing or leaving a part of ourselves. A similar argument can be made about us entering into an institution which is new to us. The certain institution at hand may make great claims as to the amount of time it demands us to invest in it, but we do not necessarily have that much time to give, and we might not even want to give that much time straight away either. It is difficult for us to invest too much time too fast. But unfortunately, many modern institutions are designed like that, asking for a lot of our time right off the bat, even though we are already part of many other institutions that also demand a lot of our time. Like this, we often find ourselves feeling that we simply do not have enough time. We seem to pause the best with institutions which demand the same amount of time from us that we are also willing to give.